Welcome back, Wolves fans. Welcome to this edition of Timberwolves Today on FanArch. I'm your host, Mark Fiers, bringing you all the Timberwolves news, rumors, hot takes, deep dives, you name it. We are starting with a rumor that has been surfacing on social media. It involves Anthony Edwards. Of course, it does. Everything right now with the Wolves is circling around Anthony Edwards. It involves a conversation that he had after the All-Star game with Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks. You all know that Anthony Edwards is from Georgia, from the Atlanta area. And so he has definitely strong ties back to Atlanta. And there's always been maybe some underlying an undercurrent of his love for Atlanta and maybe wanting to return there. Well, his quote that was caught on a mic was him saying, "Can't wait to come home. Y'all got so many wings." And the "y'all got so many wings" was whispered a little bit below, even more below his breath, kind of covered his mouth to whisper that to Jalen Johnson. So the speculation has been rampant that this means that he wants to go back to Atlanta to play for the Hawks, and he wants to go to the Hawks because of their abundance of wings or forwards. Well, this has set off Atlanta Hawks social media, radio stations. They're going giddy with the thought of getting Anthony Edwards when he hits the free agent market in the summer of 2027, or potentially a trade prior to that. Well, I have two words for you, Atlanta fans. Child, please. Come on. Anthony Edwards is not leaving Minnesota. He is not leaving Minnesota. It's not going to happen. A-Rod and Lori will not let him. There are too many reasons for Anthony Edwards to stay in Minnesota. We're going to cover some of those. The first is two words, not Naz Reid. It's actually Anthony Edwards' favorite player, Jaden McDaniels. He has a core here in Jaden. Naz, we can throw him in there too. Hopefully, Io becomes a core member of that team. It's big. Family is big for Anthony Edwards. The reason that he would go to Atlanta is for family, but he is creating a family here in Minnesota, and he's going to stick around for that. The second big reason, probably maybe the biggest reason why he will stay here, is because of money. And you may have already seen the articles. I haven't covered it yet on this on the pod, but Anthony Edwards Supermax that he can sign in the summer of 2027 could bring him up to $82 million a year in the last year of a 4-year deal. The Timberwolves are the only team in the NBA that can offer him a full supermax contract. The Wolves have his bird rights, meaning they drafted him, so they basically have the first rights to him throughout his contract. And the estimation based on salary cap numbers is that his next contract could be 4 years for $350 million, roughly $82 million a year. $1 million a game would be the first player to ever get $1 million a game. That wouldn't happen until the 4th year of that contract. The Wolves can pay with that Supermax, that Birds Right Supermax, can pay Anthony Edwards 35% of the salary cap. And then they can go $5.3 million increase per year, which would put him in that first year of his supermax contract at 67 million, the second year 72, the third year 77, and the fourth year 82 million for that gigantic contract base of 300 million with incentives, making all NBA teams and such, All-Star Game MVPs voting, postseason awards could bring him to $350 million. The Atlanta Hawks can pay him a max contract, just not the super max. They can start out at 30% of his first year, or 30% of the salary cap, and then 5% increase. And so the numbers aren't going to be exact, and there's a little minutia in terms of all of the contract numbers. But basically, the Hawks can pay him 58 million his first year, 61, 64, and 67, totaling $250 million. So the Wolves can pay Anthony Edwards' next contract $50 million more than any other team. And so I can come up with 50 million reasons why Anthony Edwards would want to stay a Minnesota Timberwolf. We have a strong core of players that will still be able to have under contract that summer of 27. Randall will be off the books at that time. Rudy hopefully will be off the books at that time. I believe that is the last year of his contract. It might come off the year before. I'd have to double check on that. But essentially, the Wolves will be in the cap space to have Edwards, Nas, Jaden, and continue to build some pieces around him. Hopefully, if the Wolves continue on their current trajectory of wins, of growth, they will be able to pull in some free agents. Really weird to say that Minnesota could be a destination place. Ant is the face of the NBA. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's kind of he's teamed with his favorite player. We have strong ownership. We could hopefully by that time have one, maybe more championships. Lots of reasons for Anthony Edwards to stay. There's really no reason for him to stay. The only reason is that he would want to live closer to home. Hopefully he is matured to the point in 3 years where that doesn't become an issue. Honestly, the only thing that I see that could potentially fuck this up would be actually KG, who's now a member of the Timberwolves. That's the only thing that I could see if the Wolves don't win a championship. Ant will be in his 7th, 8th year. KG could impart wisdom and say, man, it's time for you to get out. It's time for you to go to win a championship. Maybe Atlanta is that place. So speaking from his own personal experience, now, hopefully, he would not do that. He would not sandbag the Timberwolves organization and give him the advice. There's a lot of differences between KG's position and where Edwards will be in the summer of 27, but that's the only hiccup that I could see in this process. I already tipped my hand a little bit talking about our second point, which is the face of the NBA. That has come up again at the All-Star weekend, reporters asking Anthony Edwards if he believes he'll be the next face of the NBA when LeBron retires. He pushed that off to say Wemby. I hate to tell you folks, Anthony Edwards is already the face of the NBA. LeBron's old LeBron has become a caricature of himself, a meme of himself. Honestly, I think Steph Curry is probably more the face of the NBA right now than LeBron is. if you're on social media, you see more things that disparage LeBron than lift him up. I am a lifelong Jordan over LeBron, will always be. I do respect LeBron. I do put him up in the top two, number two, number three best player of all time. But if you're all being honest, the fall that LeBron has been experiencing the last couple of years has been a little bit comical. Yes, he's still athletic. Yes, he can still put up numbers, but he's just not what he was in Miami when he won a championship in Cleveland and in the beginning of his LA career. Just not the same. That has passed. Curry might be the face of the NBA right now, but Ant, with his performance at the All Star game, with all those clips going viral, with how he's doing, with how his game is progressing, he is there. He's got the game. He has the skill level. He's doing things right now in the league that only Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and Curry have done in terms of stats, in terms of accomplishments, in terms of milestones at this point in his career. At his age, he's got the soundbite. He's got the charisma. He has the smile. He knows the right things to say. He's honest, but he can be funny while being honest. He can be irreverent while being honest. So it doesn't come off as jaded. It doesn't come off as arrogant. It doesn't come off as out of touch, or he's condescending towards the league or other players. It's just Ant being Ant. And you just have to love it. Everybody loves him. He's got that dog in him. We're seeing that come out. We do know that dog has a name. It is Ant Jr. It is a English bulldog. That is Anthony Edwards' dog. If you did not know, he does have that dog in him, and that will just continue to progress. It's something that I've said on this pod before. I don't think that he had in his first couple years in the league, and it's something that he is developing. Typically, we think you either have the dog or you don't. Well, Edwards did not have the dog, even though he was a bulldog in Georgia, but he has that dog in him now. He is quick to give his teammate flowers. He talks himself up. He is supremely confident. He just does have this childish humbleness to him about him that's just kind of, I don't want to say cute, but kind of cute, kind of endearing, that he has this humble brag about him, just this aura about him that just draws people in. Everybody loves Anthony Edwards, and I can prove this. He has, in his past, shed the stigma, the cancellation of his homophobic comments. He paid the rumors where he paid a girl to have an abortion. I think the stat is that he has 4 kids. With 4 different women. There were rumors out there about him paying off child support in one lump sum to get rid of a kid. That's been proven to be false. But all these things that you look at Anthony Edwards about his personal life and that are just a little bit cringe, nobody cares about him. No one continues to talk about them. No one dwells on them. He has transcended past all of the garbage that has been brought up about him that makes his character a little bit questionable, that makes his role model status a little bit less desirable. Honestly, LeBron is the perfect role model when it comes to off the court types of things. He doesn't get in trouble. His character is irrefutable. Edwards has these little stains, and people, because they love him so much, just completely forget about them right away. And unless some of these things get bigger or continue to fester, or he says something truly egregious, Anthony Edwards will continue to be the face of the NBA. The other names that have been popped up, people have said that Jason Tatum could be the next face of the NBA. We all know that is absolutely hilarious. You cannot be the face of the NBA when you are the second best player on your team. Shea has no charisma. He has, fans look at him as the, free throw merchant, foul baiting, NBA coaches announcers on ESPN, Doris Burke, love Shea. They see past his flaws of his unethical game, as Wemby might call it. There's just not a lot other than the fact that he can score at will. There's not just a lot to love to be endeared to Shea. Luca has a charisma about him that is undeniable. He has a skill set about him that is undeniable, but he also has just a little bit of condescension to him, this unlikableness about him, and so unless Luca can rip off a couple championships, he is nowhere close to being seen as the face of the NBA. The last person that we could see would be Wemby. That's the only one that I could see. A Wemby Ant rivalry would be elite for the NBA for the next 7 to 10 years, 6 to 9 years. That would be great for the NBA, and we could see maybe the dual-headed monster of the NBA. I think that's the only person that could come close to Anthony Edwards. Well, we have just a few days left before the Wolves begin the second half of their season, and I really see there needing to be three things that the Wolves need to focus in and lock in on for the rest of the season, the 26 games they have left. I'm going to go through these quickly. I think they needed to learn how to better defend the pick and roll. Rudy is dropping way too low, giving up way too many wide open shots. There is a miscommunication there. A lot of that happens with Bones Highland, Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, Naz Reid. That needs to be cleaned up. I do think having Ayo in the rotation will help that. He is a little bit more physical and should be able to fight through screens and get over the top of screens a little bit more, and so and fight through. So I think that will help. The other key point, I think the Wolves really need to improve on handling the double team in two areas. One, whether it's in the low post with Julius or Ant posting up. They have two players that are great to elite in their post up game versus players of their size. They can kind of control down low. But when they do that, everyone else has a tendency to stand around. Things become stagnant and stale. I think the Wolves could benefit by being able to send a cutter through the lane or cutter baseline to pull some of the defense away and open up either a key or corner three. Just think there needs to be a little bit more movement. A cutter should be able to help with that. And then they need to work on that double team at the top. Honestly, I don't like when Rudy unnecessarily goes to set a screen for Ant 30 feet from the basket. He just invites that double team. Start that double team or start that pick a little bit lower, get into the offense a little bit more, and make the passes a little bit shorter for Ant when that double team does come. So I just like players to stay in position a little bit more, maybe have Randall try and set that screen a little bit more because he can pick and pop for that three. And the last thing is the transition defense. I think that starts with effort. I think it starts with not whining after they foul and not getting back. One thing that will definitely help the transition defense is limiting turnovers. The Wolves do have those stretches where they turn the ball over too much. And the last would be limiting long rebounds. That leads to fast breaks, but limiting the long rebounds definitely comes back to the guards and them needing to rebound, and that starts with Anthony Edwards. The last point here that I'm going to finish with is Finch. Finchy post All-Star game has in his four full seasons, wow, that is a mouthful, has the fourth best record post All-Star break behind Boston, Milwaukee, and Golden State. Boston obviously not in our conference. Milwaukee not either. Golden State is out. Denver is just behind us. It's looking good. The stretch run is looking good. So to all the haters, all the Finch haters out there, we just need to see how this plays out. Finch has, over the last 4 seasons, proven that he can make the adjustments needed to finish the season strong. And hopefully he does that. So that's all I got for today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, tell your friends, comment below. I've been receiving a couple comments here and replied to them. So if you have any comments about anything I said, just drop them down. We can definitely talk about them. If you think there's another face of the NBA, if you've heard something different about Ant and his rumors to Atlanta, let me know. And let me know about your takes about what the Wolves need to improve upon as well. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.